Welcome back to the TriFecta Airsoft podcast. I'm your host, E-Rock. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you never miss another podcast. Also, do me a favor. Go on to whatever podcast app you listen to us on and give us a rating and review. That really helps us rank in the searches. Thank you so much. Let's get into the podcast. Well, listen, we'll welcome all two of you. This is something I wanted to. The first time we're doing this. It was supposed to be a larger group. Obviously, we had people had some stuff come up or whatever. So, Phantom might be joining us. We'll see if I get a message from him. But he's an Army vet as well. And what we wanted to do was do a Veterans Day podcast where we kind of just tell our stories, just bullshit stories from our military experience, and I guess pretty much go over like what does Veterans Day mean to us, kind of thing. It's not as big of a holiday in America as Memorial Day, as far as it's not. People don't have off work typically. It's not like the whole thing shuts down and everything where we have barbecues and cookouts like Memorial Day. But it's for veterans. It's it's something that we like celebrating. Obviously,
it's a little something.
Yeah, some get some free meals, go shopping, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get your discount here and there on some stuff. What's
that?
You get your discount. I think.
Veterans Day. Yeah.
Yeah, if you go out. I remember Applebee's there for a while. I think they still do. You go out, you get a free meal.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Applebee's, like California pizza.
Yeah. I mean, the place
Chili's,
is slammed.
Like Golden Corral is packed.
Yeah.
Oh, Golden Corral, right?
There's some fake ass mother effers there as well. You can spot them out.
Isn't that weird?
You get a free meal, and you don't really have to prove anything. You just say, I'm a veteran, and you got all these guys in there who,
right.
I don't think I
get a free meal. So,
well, speaking of that, I'm glad you said that because I totally forgot about that. That's something I wanted to ask you guys as veterans, and I was going to bring this up when I was thinking about this podcast, is this stolen valor. Is that what it's called? So I heard about this thing like probably, I don't know, 8-9 years ago or whatever. Somebody I worked with who was a veteran. He was Air Force, retired, and he did the rescue stuff.
Pararescue jumper.
The pararescue. I think Austin, you had some experience with some of those guys overseas.
Yeah.
So he was one of those guys, badass dude, great guy. But he was talking about it, and him and I were about the same age, and we had the same kind of outlook on this stolen valor thing. But some of the younger guys that were just getting out, did 4 years or 5 years in the military and getting out, and they were like half our age. They were kind of pissed about it. They would, man, that's bullshit. They shouldn't be doing this. And me and this other guy were like, bro, this is a story that's as old as time, like people exaggerating things or making shit up. So the stolen valor thing, you guys know what it is, I'm sure. So what's your take on it? How do you guys feel about it?
Well, shoot, first off, what's your name? BlueMag, because I keep calling you BlueMag. That's all I see.
Yeah, it's Austin.
Okay, I am Haleyeah, by the way. That's what I go by.
But you're not Ruby. You're not Ruby Gold, right?
No, not Ruby.
Okay, because I keep seeing Ruby Gold.
That dude's a good promoter.
Yeah,
he's a great promoter. So you're gonna see him.
Speaking of, so this is today is Wednesday, November 2nd. So this will release Veterans Day, which is November 11th. But so. My bad. I don't know why I assumed you guys had already known each other. So Haleyeah, I've done a podcast with him, and then BlueMag Airsoft, Austin here. I've done a couple of podcasts with him, and Well, actually, a couple with both of you. We just did that backspin. Haleyeah. So, um, anyway, so I met Haleyeah through, was it Mr. OT?
We
Mr.
we
OT.
I
we
mean,
you
oh, no,
knew
no, it was
officially
on,
about me. You knew officially about me through Mr. OT, but we met on the field at Sirius or Stonebreaker, I
Stonebreaker.
believe. Yeah.
Stonebreaker back in April. Didn't even know that we met each other until after I started posting pictures after that weekend. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I saw you. I talked to you." I was like, "Oh shit!" So I invited him on the podcast. But anyway, yeah. So that's how we met. Of course, Austin. I've seen heard about BlueMag from Tactician Peanut. Like all these guys I was talking to, it was like a handful of people in a row. Matty Mo, Tactician Peanut, all these guys are like Blue Mag. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm looking this stuff up. I'm like, bro, this is cool. And they were telling me about your business goals and all this kind of stuff. So I invited you on, months and months ago. But so anyway, welcome both of you. And, now y'all are friends. Okay.
Cool.
Yep,
Hi,
good to
friend.
be here.
On the Stolen Valor, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I really don't care. Honestly, don't like. I think they like people started using that for like popularity. I wouldn't be surprised if half the dudes that are actually talking all that trash didn't even do nothing. Like and it doesn't say anything against them. Like they probably didn't deploy or some crap though. Like, cause I know too many people that just really don't care. Like you do so much that like unless you're saying that to like somebody's face, you know what I'm saying, that really did the stuff, just
Right.
going out and getting a discount. It's kind of whatever for me.
Yeah, um it doesn't like, people they post all these videos and stuff of these humiliating these guys in public, which I think is hysterical.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really bother me either. I don't really care. You can point people out. Like for instance, Milsom West games are infamous for this because
Really?
it's an environment where it actually requires, everybody thinks like, for instance, when I first did my first Milsom West, I was like, oh, I'm prior service. I'm a grunt. I know what I'm doing. And I get there and, airsoft's just different. There are certainly some major transition factors. You're reloading, your tactics, you're moving, you're communicating the stress, blah, blah, blah. But some stuff just doesn't. Like for the fact that you have to be within at least like 300 feet to engage somebody, maybe even 200 feet, 150 feet. And
Yeah.
some of that stuff just doesn't transition over well. And the first Milsom West, we got steamrolled. And I was just shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, I thought I would do better than this. Like I thought I would have command and control and know what I'm doing and stuff. But I got smoked by kids. Like, and when I play indoors, I get smoked by kids. Like they take me to school because I'm doing all this cool guy stuff, and they just zip by me and just whack me in the ass. And I'm like, all right, they're moving faster than me, and they're just better at this than me. So,
They know it's
very,
a game.
yeah, and it's a game.
They're more
So
fearless.
especially, the indoor stuff is a game. The Milsom stuff a little different, but
Right.
Milsom West is notorious. Staying on track here, Milsom West at these events. I just did my 9th event with them, and I'm squad leader every single time. And there's always a group of vets that I get under me in my squad. I always have maybe 1 or 2 people I know just from previous events that are like, "Hey, dude, I'm going to sign up under your team." I'm like, "Great." And last event I had like 9 people I know.
Damn.
And it's just from across the country. Like, I'll say on our Instagram, we're doing this event, a bunch of people sign up. So then I'll maybe get like 6 or 5 people that I don't know, and there's always 1 or 2 vets in there that have some insane stories, and I'm like, I'm sorry, that just doesn't add up. And
Like too insane, right?
insane,
Like
stuff.
newsworthy, insane, right?
Like they were some spec ops,
Yeah.
like Splinter Cell mother effer, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just listening to them, and I'm like, and it's like a flex. Like they're at Milsom West, they got a flex, and I always see this over, and I'm like, dude, your stories, man, like just too. And these guys are usually really out of shape,
Oh
and
my God.
They're huge guys, and they're just talking about their this and the well. When I was in, I used an M4, blah blah blah, with an extended blah blah blah, and I'm like, that would never happen. And
Did you do it again? Oh, nope, still here.
it's like, holy hell, man! It doesn't really bother me that much, but like you can pick them out. These guys are like easy to identify, and some dudes will confront them about it and really get in their face, but. Like, what's your actual name?
Hale.
Hell?
My last name is Hale.
Oh, all right. Well, Hell, like Hell was saying, it doesn't really bother me too much. It's like, I don't give a shit, man. I'm all about interpersonal callings and individualism. And if somebody else is doing their thing and they're lying, like, that's what they're doing, man. Like,
yep.
They're killing themselves and they know it.
I feel the same way. It's never bothered me. I laugh when, like you said, those videos you see somebody calling them out in front of somebody, because they're wearing a uniform or whatever. I just laugh. I'm like, bro, what? It's not that serious. Like they're not. Why would it bother most veterans I've talked with? That doesn't really bother them. We've always encountered that. Even veterans, like actual veterans that, exaggerate their stories, that act like they were in the shit, bro. They were in the shit, and they really weren't. So this is like a very common thing that's been going on forever. So the fact that they gave it a name, Stolen Valor, it sounds so serious. What the fuck is that?
They be calling it out too. I think it is funny though. You see dudes like in Class A's and they're dressed blues in the mall. You're like, why are you in dress blues in the mall? There ain't no ball going on. It's the middle of the day. Okay, you're trying too hard. Like you see like a whole freaking rack of stuff. You're like,
oh, geez.
Yeah, you got way too many awards to be dumb enough to wear a full class, your dress uniform. You got way too much on there to do that. You're an idiot. Whatever. I ain't got time for this.
I've actually never seen that. What I have seen at the mall is real soldiers with 2 ribbons or 1 ribbon, and that's legit. And I'm like, that guy is real. He's the real deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to give that guy too much trouble, but
right.
You get in, you get happy, you want to wear your uniform. Man, especially if you're in the military area.
Airsoft's like an interesting sport to be in with because people value you with military experience. Like they like think like, oh, cool, like he's actually done the real deal, and here we are playing a game. But in reality, I prefer airsoft to the military. I think it's better.
Yeah.
But I was having this one conversation that I believe I was in North Carolina for Milsom West. And hell, if you didn't know, like Milsom West is like the only thing we really like do anymore. We do, so if I talk about it a lot, that's like all we do. It's pretty much where I push the company, and the direction was just strictly Milsom West because of the structure they have. But this last Milsom West game, I was at I think it was in like June or something. I was talking to this guy in this conversation, not a veteran. I just knew, but he was just telling me about, I had steel plates on, and he starts telling me how I shouldn't wear steel plates. And I'm like, okay, like genuinely interested. He's talking to me. He says, you really should get the, what are the other ones called?
Ceramic?
Polycarbonate?
I think it's polycarb. But he said how I really should get those because when the bullet impacts, it's not going to shatter. It's not going to spray the shrapnel up.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, okay, well, these have coatings on them. Does that help? He's like, not really. If you take multiple hits, you're going to start getting ricochets from the steel plates that are going to tear your jugulars up.
Huh. And
I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. So I'm talking to him. He's really like just super serious guy, intense guy. And then, I'm asking him like, oh, well, what do you do on the civilian side? Like you must have some experience. And he paused for a minute and kind of looked away. Like he was like ashamed that he didn't have any experience. So I'm like, oh, you gotta be like a cop or something. And he's like, and I could tell he was like real close to like lying to me. And I was just in my back of my head, I'm like, don't do it. Like,
yeah, don't do it, dude.
Don't do it. And then he just goes, I'm a contractor. And I'm like, oh, cool, man. I'm like, so what do you like contract? He's like, and he's like, I'm pretty much a certified financial planner. And I'm like, you could have just said that. You didn't have to like
A contractor.
it up as like a cert. Like that's all he did. He was in finance, but he tried to dress it up like he was a contractor. And I'm like, like you trying? I'm a CFA, like
right.
So I was like, you just said that, man. Like I would have respected you just as much.
Exactly.
Like I don't care. You have more experience than I do. This guy was talking my ear off for like 20 minutes about plates, and I'm like, I didn't know any of this.
Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah. If you got the information, man, don't like whatever. Like it doesn't. That's fine. Because I mean, you can learn a shit ton by watching tons of YouTube videos where they do all those testings. There's a ton of gun channels where they do those tests on plates and.
Yeah, these guys are like, most of these civilian airsofters are like very well trained, like in sometimes better cases than I am or I was. And especially, man, when I went to Mount Valcar, which was here in PA, it was Milsom West's first PA event. This was last month. That was the most intense event I've ever done.
Really?
If you watch the video I just put up last week on YouTube, and you watch it all the way through, like that was a intense ass event because we got attached. The BlueMag group, there were so many of us. There was like 15 of us. We got attached to GMR, Green Mountain Rangers. And I'd always talk crap on these guys. I'm like, Green Mountain Rangers. But these guys were the real deal, man. They were so well trained.
Really?
It shocked me. And so well disciplined and in such good shape. It was like incredible. I was like, these guys would blow any regular infantry unit out of the water.
Damn.
Like,
nice.
Yeah, we did this. I'm going to say, I'm not really sure how far it was. Maybe it was like 4 miles, 5 miles, but we come down the road. I mean, this is a massive 7,000 acre complex, and it's on a mountain. So we hiked the side of this mountain at night, through the night until like 4 a.m. with GMR and the whole BlueMag group. We're regular guys, man. Like we're not a team. It's always just if you want to sign up under BlueMag, you can play with me and the rest of my staff, and we'll welcome you with open arms. We don't give a shit. We're not here to have tryouts and stuff. So it's all just regular guys.
Right.
Needless to say, most of them were not in the best shape.
Yeah.
And they knew it, man. So we had our rucks on, plates on, probably like 60, 70 pounds of gear, hiking up the side of the mountain, dude, like on an incline, like pitch black, one step at a time. Like I was sitting there on the side of the mountain. They kept going, okay, guys, take a breather. GMR's up there. They kept sending guys back down the mountain to get us, bring us up. And then we'd fall behind again. Then they'd send guys back down to get us. I mean, like in incredible shape.
Holy shit.
And they had these real tiny rucks on. They were just ready for the mission. Yeah. And we're all like huffing and puffing. And we're just sitting there covered in sweat. A lot of us stopped sweating because we were just done. Like we were dehydrated. We had no water. This started at like 8 p.m. to like 4 a.m. We were just going all through the night.
Wow.
And then in the morning, we get to the summit. We're like 2,200 above sea level, whatever,
Holy
and
shit.
we're up on the top. So we set up a patrol base with GMR, and they're like guiding us in and out of the patrol base. And, we'd be walking towards the patrol base, and 2 dudes would pop up in ghillie suits. No idea they were there. And they'd get on the radio, and they would, like, give us a challenge and pass. And we would, like, send it back to them. And then they'd get on the radio and be like, yeah, it's them. Roger, let them in. And then we'd walk into the patrol base like you're supposed to. And I'm like, these guys are legit. Very well trained.
I've heard, I think maybe last time you and I talked, maybe you talked about them. And I had heard of them, man, a while ago. I can't remember who first time brought it up. It might have been you, Austin, but
you got to get a podcast with them,
bro. They sound, that's cool.
Legit.
Shit. Right?
Yeah, most of them are prior service stuff, but most of them aren't. And better trained, better tactics. I mean, these guys held off half the Russian force on the top of this mountain for like 12 hours with like 10 dudes and plus us, but we were just useless. We were getting swiped left and right. These guys would just come in It was like a base of fire, and then they'd flank, wipe like 30 Russians, come in there, get us out of there. And I'm like, how the hell did you guys do that?
Wow.
And then they'd come back up, all reconvene, redistribute their ammo. And I'm sitting there like, okay, guys, here's some fruit snacks. Like, trying to keep my guys back on their feet. And all my guys are like done, dude.
Yeah.
Like, these are guys like, they're in their 40s. They're playing with their sons. They're out of shape. They just weren't expecting to hike up the side of this mountain all night.
Yeah.
Crazy event, man.
That's wild. What was the name of this event?
So if you look at my YouTube page, it is Milsom West, the Battle for Mount Balcar. And that'll kind of walk you through like everything we did. It's a long video, but it's worth the watch.
Yeah, I'll check it out tonight. That is that sounds wild, bro. Holy shit.
Yeah, I really tried to go in depth with it and cover like the extent of what we were doing. And then I realized at this event, as a veteran too, that I need to start pushing myself harder. I was like, I've got to start pushing my guys harder, not my guys, but whoever ends up signing up under with me. Yeah. I need to push them harder at the events. I need to push myself harder. So at this last event in South Carolina for Zaporizhzhia insurgency, we pushed real hard. We were up we slept all day. And then once the sun went down, we ran night ops until we fell over dead the next morning at 6 a.m. We'd sleep for a few hours. We'd get up, we'd run more missions. And I was just pushing these guys, pushing them. And some of them were cracking. But then I tell them, like, come on, man, like, you just got to keep with the rhythm here. And meanwhile, back at the base, everybody else is sleeping because they're not really pushing themselves to go out. And at Milsom West, you can do that. You're in the matrix there. You can push as hard as you want and stay out as late as you want and set up patrol bases a mile from your main forward operating base and run that shit all night long. Like, you can do whatever you want there. So why wouldn't you push yourself to the limits, especially if you're a veteran, like you were doing on active duty, that these civilians are. Like, these guys are much better. We got ambushed multiple times by groups I didn't even know were there, absolutely slaughtered us. And I'm just like, I guess it really doesn't matter if you're a veteran or not in this sport.
Right.
Like, if you train, you're going to get good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. Some of the guys that are veterans. Well, going back to when the guy was talking to you about the plates and stuff. Do you guys find that as veterans, like, just whether you're at an airsoft event or just out somewhere, or you go to a family function or a party or a cookout or whatever, somebody that doesn't really know you, especially, guys, when they find out you're a veteran, I get this all the time. It's like they feel like they have to impress you. And I'm going, bro, I was a cog in a giant machine. Like, I'm not special. Okay. I happen to be in shape enough and mentally tough enough to make it through boot camp and make it through 4 years of, Marine Corps. But I'm not fucking Rambo. Okay. Like, you don't have to, say that, I was going to go in, but I couldn't because of, I get that a lot. And I'm like, and I'm very nice with them, but I'm thinking in my head, like, bro, you don't have to tell me that. Like, I promise you, if you're a good dude, morals, values, character, I don't care what you've done. As far as, your work, you went from high school to a job, like that's fine. It's okay. Like, I'm not, I don't look down on somebody that didn't go into military.
Especially people that are like highly successful.
Yeah, dude.
Like, they're in a better spot than you. And theoretically, you're supposed to be the best of the best. And you're just not. These guys are way above you. And you're like, man, in reality, you are, the military becomes your identity. And you become brainwashed to be that identity. That's what they want from you. They want to take your identity.
Yeah.
And they want it to be in the Army, that you're a soldier and you're a Ranger and that's what you are. and that way you just keep re-enlisting because like that's your identity. You couldn't possibly do anything else. Like no, no
Absolutely
way.
not. Man, shoot. I don't know. When people tell me that, I'm just like, man, I don't even know if I'll go back in right now because it's garrison and garrison's boring. Man, I wasn't infantry or nothing like that, but I deployed twice and deployment life was definitely way better. Granted, you know, with all the craziness that was happening over there. Um, but like, I couldn't imagine just being in the military, not doing nothing, freaking sitting at the motor pool, just doing nothing. Like, yeah, I can't imagine that right now, man. That just sounds
Mm,
absolutely just boring as crap.
I
I remember
wouldn't do
when I
that.
got back from my second tour, that was 2012, and we had new people coming in. They're like, "Oh man, can't wait. We're trying to get our combat pack and stuff." And it's like, "Yeah, we're not deploying anymore. Y'all going to Kuwait." Like, there's no more deployments. There's no more. Like, people are itching to do stuff. It's like deployment to Kuwait and then come back. That's as much as you're getting. So it's like, I mean, it's still good, you know, to serve, you know, because you serve your country. But let's be real, man. That's boring. Make more money on the
Garrison,
outside.
Garrison's rough life.
Garrison.
Um, I don't know if I would really tell. Yeah, you know, I wouldn't. I don't really encourage. Now, when someone says like when they're on the edge, I tend to push them towards it. Like, just do it, man, and get it over with,
yeah.
and say you did it. But nowadays, you're garrison. Like, actually, the guard has actually some really good opportunities, but um, for the most part, you're just going to be sitting on your ass. Like, it's going to suck.
Hmm.
Like, I know
And
infantry people that like in some different chat groups and stuff I'm in. They're like, you know, fresh infantry and stuff, 2-3 years in and stuff like that. They're fainting. They don't have nothing to do. Like, they're
yeah,
infantry. They was made to
you're
kill,
gonna.
and like they're
Yeah.
not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real depressing life, man. Let me tell you. Like, I mean, I don't mean to switch topics, kind of staying on the stolen valor stuff here. But yeah, that can get real rough, man, when you're stuck in garrison for a long time.
Well, that's where a lot of the training stuff, accidents and, well, not just training, but the, guys go nuts, man.
Yeah,
We saw it in Okinawa when I was there. When you don't have that to, put that energy into, you put it into something. Like, it's still there. So you put it into partying. You put it into fight. Like, we got in tons of fights with each other, with the Air Force guys, with some of the Navy guys, the CBs that were on our base. Like that, we were fighting every weekend. And then you do stupid shit because you're getting fucked up all the time. Yeah, guys get hit by cars,
yeah.
yeah.
And soldiers are safer overseas. Like, that's a fact. Much
Yeah,
safer overseas.
that's crazy.
You're like locked down. They can just throw you on a base and you can't do anything.
Yeah.
No.
So more likely to get killed in a car accident than an RPG. It's not going to happen.
It's wild. Yeah.
um,
Well, what was your guys' experience like when you went in? Uh, what was your, I guess, most memorable thing in boot camp? Was that the hard? Was it as hard as you expected, or did you want it to be a little harder, or what was the highlight of boot camp or the low point?
Um.
well, I think for me, I was pretty excited when I got there. Um, and, it was like, I was young. I was like 17 and a half, like,
Nice.
and turning 18, like in boot camp. And I was real young. I'd never touched a weight in my life. I'd never ran a mile in my life, like,
Oh
never
shit.
done any sports in high school. I didn't run like 2 miles till I like got in the army. Like the first
Damn.
time I went in, I was like, my recruiters, nobody cared about that stuff. Just go.
Right.
So that was a big mistake. But I think boot camp's easy, man. Let's face it. Like boot camp basic, whatever you want to call it, like shit's easy. You literally just stand there and say, yes, drill sergeant, aye, sir, whatever, and that's it. Like you're not gonna get kicked out. Like even the only way you're getting kicked out is if you really want to get out of there. Like
Right.
that's the only way. But as long as you just stay there, even if you're the biggest F up in the world,
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna get through. It's too easy. And they show all these intense trailers and stuff. But in reality, you're just standing in lines. You stand in lines to get your teeth looked at. You stand in line to get your hair cut. You stand in line to shoot a machine gun, a belt that's about this long. And okay, get up, get out of here. And you're like, oh, that's it? Like,
Yep.
and then these videos online, man, they show all these guys just being super cool and doing super cool stuff. Stand in line for 30 seconds of glory. And it's not much different than the real military. You'll do years of training overseas for 30 seconds of combat, and that's all you get for your entire career. So for me, I think in basic, I severely underestimated that. I was just not ready for standing in lines. I was ready for go, go, go intensity. Nope. Only when the cameras were on and only when it was required, behind closed doors, getting absolutely annihilated in the bays and stuff. Like, no problem with that, man. I was like, hell yeah, bring on the intensity. But the slow, methodical stuff was that got to me, like, in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And then finished up, easy peasy, man. But, like Hales was saying, the garrison life is like the true challenge. Because basic, it's like, I'm going to start here and finish here. No problem. I get my award. I get my little whatever at the end, my cool ceremony where I say my infantry's creed and stuff. And then I've like done it. And then I go on leave and I go home and tell my friends all my war stories and stuff. But then when you get to garrison, there's no start and finish. Like, that's your life for like 3 years. So that's like the real test.
Mm-hmm.
Is like actually not doing anything.
That is true. What, when I went in, my dad, he was a drill sergeant, so I think he gave me more of a headache than anything. Like, that dude just made me do push-ups and BDUs when I got in trouble when I was a little kid. So I already had the humiliation on my side. Like, if you saw my head was bald, it was because I got in trouble. So, like, when I went in, I was actually expecting, like, I guess that same intensity, and it was kind of a mixture because it was like, oh man, you're going to relax in Jackson. So I was like, oh, okay, relax in Jackson. Like, yeah, they let you get on your cell phones, chill, and all this stuff. And so they were setting me up because I'm like, oh, okay, cool, it's gonna be chill. They're like, yeah, they got little cards they give people now. They've been talking about those stress cards forever. As soon as I got there, I did see one stress card. They immediately smoked the crap out of us, like just to say, hey, welcome. And it was on from there. Like, overall, I'd say like the funnest thing I did was really just the shenanigans. Like, there was times where I remember one dude, he messed up his knee or something, so he had crutches, and so we were bored. We got in our full battle rattle with like our freaking vest on and our Kevlars, put our mouthpiece in, and we took his freaking his crutches, and we were doing freaking jousting. We was like doing office chair jousting. We actually got caught for it too. It was funny as hell. But like we were just bored, so we'll do things like that. We was playing football with socks and crap. Like, yeah, I had nothing else to do. But like at the end of it, you know, like Austin was saying, the only way you get kicked out is if you're really trying. Like, you really have to try because
Mm-hmm.
the boot camp. Like, I feel like boot camp, and I tell everybody, like, just military period. It teaches you to deal with crap. You have to deal with it.
Right.
So the situation is not going to change. How do you want to handle this mentally is what you have to like start looking at. Like, even from basic training, like, the situation ain't going to change. You're going to be waking up early. You're probably going to be pissed off about it, but it's not going to change. And you're going to keep doing it. So no point in freaking stressing about it. You got to learn to already detox from all your anxieties and stresses that you normally have. Like, oh man, I got to do this, got to do that. Detox from all that crap and just go into, soldier mode. And I mean, but once you do it, shoot, you good. That's like probably the most you get out of it. Like, I think the most fun I really did have was I shot a gun for the first time. I never even shot a rifle until I got in the military.
Huh.
So, and actually, the last rifle I did shoot was in the military.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish they shot a lot more. Fortunately, line, man, units got to go, units got to do this, units got to do that, and then your range time's like even in the infantry, man, we don't spend a lot of time, like once a month maybe. It's just units, man. Like, units got to go through. This unit's got to go through. You're waiting in lines. It's just this endless bureaucratic structure that it is the biggest challenge. Like people are going to go in, they got to understand that it is a super bureaucracy, and it will drag you down in paperwork and files and leave paperwork until you are just, you're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Freaking Class A inspection, TA-50 inspections.
Bro.
Oh, man, I don't miss none of that at all. Like, I was very lucky because I actually, when I joined, they were still deploying like regular. So I got to my unit in December 2006. They were just getting back in January. And it was already like, yeah, we're deploying again in December. And so they deployed. We did 15 months. Even while we was over there, it was like, yeah, you're gonna deploy again in 2010. So it was literally like, get home, down or get everything off the trailer, put everything back up, do maintenance, get everything good, start training, take some leave. Then we're going. Then we come back and was doing the same thing again. But like I said, after that, after my second tour in 2010, 2000, or what was that? Yeah, 10 to 11. After that one, yeah, Garrison stuff started kicking in. That's when Garrison started kicking in. Like, because actually, yeah, the whole time they had us wearing berets. And I remember, like, out of nowhere, it was like, yeah, you wear PCs now. Like, they got rid of the berets and said we can wear PCs. And that was like 2011, 2010. Like, they changed everything up. And I was like, oh, they're trying to make us feel comfortable since we're going to be stuck here.
Oh, shit.
Because we've been wearing PCs the whole time. Never coming back. I mean, I don't miss it. I can't miss that part. I can't miss Garrison, man. That's the boring part. I miss everything else about it though. You know, all the homies and.
Yeah, but you can get that in airsoft.
Right. Yeah, you can get that in airsoft.
That's the biggest. I think people miss is they think the military is all cool and stuff. You know, that's the best part is what you have in airsoft when you do like a Milsom West event. Like you get that for 3 days. You get that intensity. Like I'm telling you, man, it's highly addictive. If I don't know, Hells, if you've done any Milsom West events.
I haven't, but next season, I guess next year, I plan on trying to work one into my schedule. I've been doing TCA since I started. I only been in the game Third Coast Airsoft.
Third Coast, yeah.
Yeah, I've only been in for like 3 years though. I haven't been playing airsoft long at all. But
okay, yeah, I mean, Third Coast, they don't do 40-hour straight events, do they?
No, their longest event right now is 24 and a half or 24 hour.
Right.
Like that one's coming up next week. And so that'll be the first one. Well, that'll be the second time doing 24 and a half. But
yeah, that's what are you going to that one? No, you're not able to go, are you?
Now, where is this?
It's at GTI.
Oh, yeah, I was just in GTI 2 weeks ago for Milsom West.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would.
Okay.
I mean, I could last minute. I think I have another event. I think I'm doing Grimnir Tacticals event. Stuff just got clogged up. But I'll be honest, man. GTI is cool and all, but like you can get your teeth shot out going indoors into that place. Like that place is like a death trap.
Oh yeah,
it is CQB heavy. It's definitely CQB heavy. Grenade heavy. Like shoot, if you ain't got Ear Pro inside, you were screwed. It better be active Ear Pro too.
Yep.
But yeah, you'll get that, you know, that stuff you want out of the military just by going to a Milsom West or a longer the like 12-hour events, not really, and like the American Milsom model or most Milsoms for that matter do like the 9 a.m. to 8 and then everybody goes to bed and then they wake up and they start back over. I feel like that's kind of starting to fade. And again, I don't mean to go off topic. Let me know if I am, but I feel like people want more. They want to be able to stay out there later. They want to do these longer 24, 42-hour events because it creates that environment where people can actually create a relationship over those time periods. And people don't leave because you're in the flow. You're in the matrix. You're going. when people leave, man, they just tend not to come back. So, we've talked about this a lot past
Right.
podcasts and stuff.
Well,
Yeah,
see,
they
that's what I'm hearing is from a lot of you guys that play all these different ones. Is when they have you play for 2.5 hours, then take a break. It's like that first break, you lose, a portion of people that just don't come back. Then you
Yep.
have, the next section is, it's less people out there. Then you have another break before the night game. You lose some people for that, that don't come back. So by the time you're playing on Sunday morning, it's like half the people are out there,
Yep.
because you've had so many breaks. Now,
yeah.
I think it was OT was talking about uh, one of the events Third Coast did recently that he went to, where they switched it up. They did 5 hours straight with no break, and then had a break, and then did another 5 hour session instead of breaking that up or whatever. And I guess everyone liked it better.
Yeah, that was the last one they did. I
Okay.
think with Third Coast, I think they're a good start for a lot of people because I see a lot of people that go to Third Coast and they couldn't handle a Milsim West. Like the only reason why I haven't
For
even
real.
went to a Milsim West is just because I've been doing so much over with Third Coast. Like I've been a squad leader over there, and I just been just especially just starting out. I'm really digging into like the tactical side of Milsim, airsoft, and so like a lot of these guys though, they're definitely not ready for that. I don't think. Well, I can't say a lot of them ain't ready because I mean there's a lot of people, but most of the people that I see, they'll get burnt out quick, or they're still shooting like crazy instead of like controlling their shots and
Mm,
doing the things that'll be the key elements. Granted, at the same time, I think because they're allowed to do that in a way, that's kind of why it happens, right? Like I could just spray everybody all day if I need to. Worst case scenario, I could just go back to my car and get some more ammo. Compared to you don't have a choice. This is all you have. Use it wisely, and once you're done, you're screwed until you get some more. Like that's a
mm,
totally different situation because you're forced into that situation. So I can see how like Milton West is even is like the next step up because like even with this 24-hour op, the last couple ops I did like I'm with you Austin as far as like airsoft field sim tactics are different. Like as much as everybody would be like, oh shoot, you was in the military, like stuff. I was just an AC and generator mechanic. Did they teach me how to clear, like breach and clear and stuff? Yes. Did I ever breach and clear houses? No. You think breaching and clearing is the thing that makes me an elite airsofter? Absolutely not.
Gross. Like these,
Yeah,
you
like
walk,
you think. I mean, that's what's always weird about the military thing too. Because it's like, oh shoot, you was in the military. It's like, what part of the military you think is actually gonna up my status in airsoft? Because it's totally different, right? I can't even snipe you the same. I got a bullet, BB that drops quicker.
yep.
Wind is hitting it. It's going different ways. I never sniped before, so now I got to deal with wind all of a sudden, like even at a small distance. And so one of the things I did realize that I took from the military though is I respect the fact that we was always training. The thing they always say is train as you fight, right? Train as you fight. And so I've been embracing that more in my civilian life because with airsoft, my thing is I pay this much for a ticket. I want to make sure I have all the fun of it. So I don't want to
Hmm.
be tired. I don't want to get worn out. And the only way I can get better at that is conditioning myself, getting myself better beforehand. So when I'm out there, I'm not like, oh man, I'll holler at y'all later. I'm done. I just spent like $500 in travel and everything, but I can't do
Right?
it anymore. Like that's what I don't want. So like
For
I've been
real.
putting more into that.
that's what happened, man, at the Balcar event. Like, even me, I was hurting. So I knew the guys that didn't do this often were hurting.
Hmm.
Um, and, I do think that part transitions over well. Is if you're playing the squad leader role, you do know how to command and control. Like,
Yeah.
you do have that down. That gives you an edge. Like, you can motivate, you can command and control, you know how to keep your guys' heads up and stuff. And I think at that event, that's where my skills really came into play because I'm confident that if I was not the squad leader at that event, all those guys would have went home. And we lost three of them. One of them because he rolled an ankle, and then another guy, I forget what happened with him, but they were like injuries, so they were out. And even then, they were still trying to press forward. Like, but they were done. I was like, you guys are done, man. Like, you're going home. And they were like really upset about it. So I think my skills as a leader really kept the flow going.
Sure.
So I do think that is a transitional point, good skill. Like you bring to the table like some real good leadership skills and motivation tactics, like stuff people just don't understand. When stuff gets real shitty, you kind of just laugh through it and stuff. Yeah.
Person that can,
because especially comms, you guys are like, both y'all have been squad leaders, and there's a lot of that stuff that, of course, it's been so long for me. I don't remember how to even get on, the commands on radio. I know how to say, copy that, roger that. Other than that, bro, I don't remember, but you guys, that's a big deal on the field with the command stuff, the communications.
The comm stuff is important. I mean, anyone can talk over, hey, what's up? Yeah, I see him, blah, 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 blah. But like sometimes people, and I see this often, they just crowd up the net. They're screaming over the radio and they're yelling, screaming, I need help. Where
get
are
that guy
you?
over there.
Yeah.
You don't get here, we're not going to make it.
By the tree.
Yeah.
Get here now. We need help.
Yeah, like no joke, man. This one, I think it was actually like the second Milson West event I gave this medic a radio. I shouldn't have, but he was on the platoon net. This kid was screaming, like you were saying, we need help, we're not gonna last. We need it right now, like screaming into people's ear. We were all pulling our mics out, like holy hell. And he just didn't understand that, like if you just keep it crowded up and you're screaming, nothing's gonna happen. But to him, it was like the world was ending, and everyone needed to converge on his position. And so yeah, that's definitely like a transitional skill as well, for sure. Like just control and how to talk to people and communicate.
Right.
That's definitely like
Jocko Willing talks about that a lot on his podcasts, about that, talking on the radio that way. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, he's talking about stories with guys that are legit in the shit.
Yeah.
Where the lives are at stake, but still learning to keep your cool on the radio.
Yeah, it's a big skill to have. And I see it very often that if you play airsoft, you'll get good at it.
Yeah.
What is it? Yeah, even as a squad leader, they because it's hard to get a good squad leader. Like, especially if you don't have that leadership mindset. And one of the biggest things with that is not paying too much to actually shooting people and figuring out how to employ your people. Like, the best way to, utilize your men on the field. And so, like, I've seen plenty of, civilian leaders, squad leaders that, like, they don't have that in their head because you're like, I want to still be in the game. So they're so focused in the scope, they're not paying attention to tactics. Like, squad leaders or any kind of leadership probably gets more of their fun by other people doing stuff than they do by shooting. Yeah. That's just the way it normally is. It's like, yo, man, I sent my guys over there, set up another flank. They came in like this to strike them dudes. I told them to do that. Like, that's as much as you get out of it. They get to talk about, like, everything that happened inside, but for us, like, that's where the fun is, Like, we'll still move with them, but it's never really.
Jocko Willing talks about that a lot as well. About the removing yourself from the fray to command and control, because if you don't and you get caught up in the fray, you don't know what's happening. And I've been learning that lesson the hard way a lot recently. Is I've been putting myself too much in the fray. Like when stuff starts happening, you'll see if you watch the Balcar video near the end, if you kind of skip to the end of the combat, to the assault down the ridge, down the mountain by Rust 4 on Sunday morning, where they just hit GMR in us. We were kind of secluded on the other end of the map, and we should have retreated a long time ago. Like, we were so overwhelmed and pinned down that, but we just kept holding our ground. Everyone was too caught up in the fray to be like, we need to get out of here. We need to retreat to friendly lines so we can have more manpower. We got surrounded. We just kept sitting there shooting and shooting. We're all like just so caught up in the moment of like, oh my gosh, I'm getting kills, that we forget, like, if I get hit, no one's coming for me. So we got wiped out at the end of that event. And that was it. Like, there was a whole nother firefight that lasted like another 4 hours. And we had to sprint around to the other side of the mountain, like sprint to get to beat the Russians, because it was like NATO Russians chasing them, and we had to like come up from the rear and catch up to our lines. So like, you know, I was too much in the fray. I was like, man, if I was not in the fray and I saw that force coming down the hill, I would just say, everybody get your rucks. Let's get out of here. Like, we cannot hold off this force. In no circumstance are we going to be able to hold them back. And I didn't. I just was like, oh, yeah, here they come, you know?
Yeah. Let's set up shop and let's go to work.
Yeah, so we're completely outnumbered. So I'm slowly starting to realize that is I have to remove myself from the fray and be able to see what's going on and say, we can take these guys. Maybe not.
Yeah.
And that's why I've switched over to the DMR role, because it gives me that distance I want, and I can just kind of hang back. And when I see an opportunity, I'll take it. But for the most part, like you said, Hal, I just, you know, I just command and control things.
Yeah.
So that was a hard lesson to learn. I think recently was like when I really implemented it.
Yeah, I think that's why I started using. Well, I was using DMR. I still go back and forth, but that's one of the main reasons I was using my DMR is just because of the fact that I want to stay back, pull a little bit more Overwatch.
Great.
My issue, and then like even now, you know, that's when the tactics comes in to pay more attention to, like, you know, the field and everything. I know for GTI, me with a DMR is just not good.
Yeah, you can
like it's open field
there, but
yeah, it's open field though, so it's like
yeah,
it's open enough where I'm probably not gonna do too much because I always got to move my guys. But I did actually I got a 4x scope for my Mark 18, so
Nice.
another reason why, so I can still, you know, pull observation, see what's happening, and maybe clap a couple people, and you know, if they happen to be.
I mean I had a pretty good time as a DMR there. I kind of, you know, we used a lot of different avenues because usually what I do is I take everybody and I never hit the enemy head on with my squad. I'll always take them way around, like a 3-4 mile route around the enemy position, which takes all night, literally all night, from like 9 p.m. to like 3 a.m. We'll sit there, we'll put fire guard up, a little patrol base, and then we'll just sit there about 300 meters out from the enemy position, watch them till about 6 a.m. till the sun comes up, and just like the Indians, hit them right when the sun comes up.
Wow.
And
that's dedication, bro.
it is, and it's tough, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's to get these guys like really motivated to do that is like very difficult. But now that I condition myself to that level, to be able to do it Friday and Saturday night is do it multiple times. Like, if you fail on the first attempt, if you get compromised, walk back, get a drink of water, take a 15-minute nap, we're going out again. Like, just repeat until we're successful. And but anyway, you know, staying on topic.
That's wild.
Yeah, like it's very you know, I forget what my main point was with that, but you know, you do these big movements and the DMR kind of allows you to keep that observation and stuff, and it's a pretty cool role to have.
My only experience with the milsim was at Stonebreaker, and that was my first time being in GTI. Although I was familiar with the layout because of all the videos I edited from the footage from these guys, but there's not a whole lot of woods. It's very open. Very open for as large as that, you know, spread out as that area is. There's a lot of it that's really open. Besides up by the buildings, where there's, you know, the bus, there's the buildings, there's the Connex boxes, and then, you know, whatever is down at the bottom of the one hill by the trailers. There's usually some kind of, you know, pipes and just shit laying around that you can kind of take cover from.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, but you know, if anyone is up on that hill looking down, you're fucking dead meat, bro. Like, there's not that much cover down there, so it's kind of, you know, everyone kind of congregates up by that building.
Does GTI do any DMR rules? I mean, not GTI, just
Third Coast.
Yeah.
Like, do they let you like bump up to 450 FPS or something, joules?
I forget what their I don't know the limits off top, but they do have limits for DMR.
Yeah.
So you can go a little bit higher. That's nice. I'm glad to see more fields are adopting it because I don't like being a sniper. That's a dedicated job. That's like a 3-man recon element. Sneaky, never pull the trigger, just observe. So it's kind of, I can't have a squad of 12 guys. But DMR is kind of that nice place, and it's nice to see people adopting it. So I can actually, like, Milsom West lets you go up to 2.68 joules. Like,
For DMR?
For DMR. That's like,
nice.
It's insane. I was able to hit people like 350 feet away. And snipers can go up to, I think, like 3.2 joules or something. Like, and some of their machine guns is too. It's like 3 joules. Like, when you're getting hit with a machine gun, you're like, holy shit, awesome, man! Like that sounds like a machine gun. And you get knocked down with one of these things, man. They're shooting like 4.0s or 4.3s, and when you get hit, it's like it just knocks you off your feet.
Dude, that's cool.
See, that seemed like one of those ones. I'll definitely keep my mask on.
Yeah, like inside, man. At GTI, I'll be honest, I didn't spend a lot of time inside. I had my Glock. No face protection. I was scared as hell. I was like, if one of these hallways has a machine gun, like an MMG, I'm going to get my face shredded. And that's what happened, dude. We did a raid on Saturday night. We were able to actually sneak all the way around, very successful, snuck in, went into the building, the real tall one at the south side. I don't even, it's hard to describe, but so we go in, it's probably like 5:30 a.m., 6 a.m. We all scoot inside. They've got guard posted. They're looking down the stairs, and I point my DMR up, and I blast this kid in the face. And I see him shoot back, and he starts screaming like, you scream at Milsom West. So we're moving up the stairs slowly into some of the rooms and stuff, and we start throwing grenades in the rooms, and everybody curls up in their sleeping bags and stuff, and grenades are just blowing up. And I look at this kid's jaw, and it's like massive.
Oh shit!
God.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh my God, that was me." I mean, he was up there, man. Like, I had a good distance. I switched to my Glock when I get close, but like, it was a fair shot. But even at that distance of like 150 feet, like, his chin, man, was like this, and he had a BB lodged inside of his chin, and he's like, "Hey, man, I think one of you guys is shooting kind of hot." And I look at him, I'm like, "Oh man, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, I felt really bad."
Yeah.
You need some freaking like scalpel to cut that thing out. It was.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hey, that's why you wear a face, bro. You can't feel bad. Like, I be feeling bad while I hit people in the face.
Yeah.
Because I really don't try to, but then I'm reminded of the fact that, like, I'm tripping because you didn't wear a face, bro.
Correct. Like
I'm literally like, oh, dang, I hit your tooth because you didn't wear a face, bro. That's exactly the reaction. It's just like, if you had a grill right there, you wouldn't.
Yeah, his face is just hanging over the railing, and right when I pulled the trigger, I'm like, this is going to blast his face into oblivion. And sure enough,
I'm just thinking when you said that, I'm thinking a BB up the nostril, like, make my eyes water just thinking about it.
Like, I was shooting 3.6s or 4.0s, like that could have easily went right up there, went right out, like.
Woo.
So, yeah, GTI, man, is a sketchy place.
Yeah.
That's why much.
When we were at Stonebreaker, you I didn't know that it was you that was talking to me, but remember you offered to escort me into the building. So, I had a press pass, and you said, "Oh, you want to go up in there?" I'm like, "Hell no."
You didn't have to go back though. Like, you don't even understand.
Bro,
you was not gonna get shot. I was gonna be your front man.
I don't care about getting shot. I cared about all the footage that I saw from these guys because they had been to GTI like 8 previous times, and the inside stuff with the just like, what do you call it, cutouts in the floor where there's fucking rebar and pipes, and I don't keep my balance too well. Okay, my feet don't work right, so nah. And all those people running in and out, and I'm trying to get out of the way so I could just see myself falling in that fucking death pit. Hell no.
Yeah, that place is sketchy, man. Like,
it's hard to get footage inside anyway,
Yeah, it is, because I thought about it, especially since I did Comcam at Sirius Viking.
Right.
Like I realize lighting situation wise and stuff, it's hard, and plus CQB is not really a good like any closed building. It's kind of like you're just gonna be recording. Well, it depends on what you're doing, but you're not gonna be getting too much because the lighting is so horrible.
Yeah.
You'll literally have to flash a light on people, like, hey, here they are, they're over here.
Yeah. Strike a pose. Come
on. So I've got about like 30 minutes left here.
Yeah, we're good.
Is there any more we kind of went off topic a little bit there.
I mean,
is there any more military stuff that you want to do?
Yeah. Well, what I guess what's your most memorable time in the military? What's your most who stood out to you the most? Who was your best friend? What did you what kind? I mean, I have all kind of stories just from drinking and fighting and messing around in Japan, and I mean that was culture shock, right? Now I got to say though, my boot camp experience was way different than you guys. It was rough. We never stood around. I mean, we did have to stand in line, obviously, get our gear, get our hair cut, get our teeth checked. That was in the first week. But once you're done with all that, bro, it's fucking non-stop for 3 months. And we spend a month on spend 30 days on the range. We actually leave our barracks, go to another part of Paris Island, and spend a whole 30 days there in this, separate barracks on the range, and snap in every day. So this is we snap in for 1 week and then 3 weeks of shooting. So it is we had a shit ton of fun shooting, tons of rounds. I'm sure it's different now, but back then they were throwing ammo at us, man. We shot the 50 cal, we shot the M60. They didn't have the 240 Bravo out yet. We qualified with the 1911, and then my last year in, they transitioned over to the Beretta, so qualified with that as well. But we shot the Mark 19. I mean, lobbing rounds, bro. That was fun.
Yeah.
Shot the AT4. We were able to shoot an AT4.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, we actually shot like a fake round out of that. We shot it, but I can't even explain what we shot. It was like a chalk round. I'm like, are you serious?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like chalk round. We shot the Mark 19. Like I said, 4 rounds. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, the AT4, it was a 9mm tester round or something like that shot. That's what it was. It was a
joke.
Yeah, it's a little 9mm tracer round that comes out of it or some weird crap. It wasn't. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah,
the real one we shot. I was surprised because this is obviously there's no internet, there's no nothing when I went in the military. So there was AT4. I had no clue what it was. I didn't realize it was what do you call it? String, wire.
It's a wire rocket.
Wired. So a wire shoots out first, and I don't even know what kind of charge they use. Is it a 22 or maybe a 9mm? I don't know, but something shoots this wire out, and then the rocket follows the wire, which I had no clue that was even like a technology back then. It's like, this is cool as shit, man.
Yeah,
but yeah,
what are they called? The ITAS.
Okay.
The ITAS will shoot the wire rocket. Those things are beast. Just to set up to carry around, like,
yeah,
man, those are all they're pretty cool though.
So we did that in the military. We did 4 weeks on the range, but then we don't do I don't know how it is now, but back then Marine Corps doesn't do tactics, like a lot of tactical training in boot camp. It was very, very limited. Our tactical training comes afterwards at Marine combat trainings, 30 days after. So you go to boot camp 3 months, you go home on leave for 7 days, then you go to MCT at Camp Geiger in North Carolina, and that's 30 days in the woods. You learn patrols, you learn ambush stuff, and then of course they throw gas grenades at you, so you have to pull your gas mask out and put it on really quick. Tear gas, and then the that's where we shot the AT4. That's where we shot the Mark 19 and the 50 cal. But we didn't shoot that in boot camp. But yeah, so MCT was straight on, tactical training, and all our shit. When I was in, we didn't do any CQB. I think we had one day. It was not even a full day. It was all in the woods stuff, coming out of, of course, Vietnam, Grenada, all these, that type of stuff we were in when I, not long before I went in. So they were still doing all that shit. Yeah.
CQB is a big focus now.
Yeah, it is.
Me going through, that's like all we did, like especially infantry. You do your one station unit training, you'll do your 10 weeks of boot camp, and then you'll transition. Back when I was doing it, it was 16 weeks total. Now it's 25 weeks.
Holy shit.
Yeah, 25 weeks for infantry. That's like hell, man. That you're like in boot camp for 25 weeks.
Right.
I think that's just ridiculous, man. Like training can only go so far.
Yeah.
Like you got to just get in there and do stuff. So CQBs, like I think that's a big portion of the extended training was focused on urban combat and moving with vehicles, striker units, and that kind of stuff. So they like really started to move towards that. As I was getting out, that was like they wanted to be more mechanized and focused on CQB. So 25 weeks, man, like
that is long.
Yeah, it is.
So, but I think to answer your original question, like people, moments and stuff, active duty, man, I had some good friends. Active duty was rough. Like, I came out of basic right into, and then I got put with the 101st. I was with them for about 4 years, and we were with the Rakasans, which are like the most deployed unit in the Army. But then again, everybody says that. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, my unit's the most deployed," or blah blah blah. But and these guys were hard guys, man. Like real. Like they were worse than drill sergeants, and they had unlimited power. That was like the issue. Was there was no at boot camp or whatever, they can only smoke you so much or whatever. Here it was like unlimited. There was no. It's like space. Like no one can hear you scream. You're there, shit. And you're there for years. It's not like boot camp where you'll put the drill sergeant in the back of your mind. This was like different. It like hit me differently psychologically. Just the power they had, and every second of the day, man. It was like every morning I woke up, I had a room inspection at 4:45 in the morning by my like team leader. Then I had a room inspection for my squad leader, which you never spoke to your squad leader. It was like he was like this mystical person, and your platoon sergeant was also like a mystical man. You never had a conversation with. If you approached them before going through your chain of command, it was like the end of the world. So they were like, it was like a hard group of guys, man. They literally, when I got there, they're like, "You ready to deploy?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like 18 years old. Yeah. And they literally just deployed to Afghanistan, and they're like, "All right, we're gonna send you over there. Like, ready? Just don't even pack into your room." I'm like, I'm not ready for this, man. And it's just hard guys, man. Like, and I had a couple, maybe like one good leader, two good leaders. That's like it. And everybody else, man, was just a royal dickhead. Like just hard ass dudes, man. You'd scream and they'd scream at you and you'd shake in your boots. Like, yeah, just all of them, were in Iraq and Afghanistan. Like some of these guys are initial invasion of Afghanistan, which was Operation Anaconda, which was my unit that spearheaded that. And they were just hard dude, man. Like all these documentaries that come out, The Hornet's Nest. I know most of the guys in that documentary. Wow. And then what was that other movie before that? There's a bunch of these movies that came out about the 101st in Afghanistan and stuff. And it like you watch the movies, you're like, man, these guys, man, are crazy. We're in Iraq and stuff, just out of their minds. So a lot of these guys were like my squad leaders and stuff, and they were just out of their minds. So having some friends would have been nice, but all of us as privates, dude, we'd go into work and they would tell us if we're not doing anything, we're reading our manuals. They made us like manuals, and we would sit there, and if we took our eyes off our manuals, we would just get smoked for hours. So we'd sit there memorizing these manuals of like max range of the Mark 19, max range of the 50 cal. I mean, I knew everything down to like the last pin of the 50 cal. I was like a master of that.
Holy shit.
And then we had to give classes, dude, like on a daily basis on patrolling. Here's how you clear a room, tourniquets, this, like, it was insane, man. These guys were like on top of their shit, extremely well trained. And
damn.
Yeah, dude, it was like
they wanted you to be ready if they're going to be with you out there.
It was like you were like on top of your shit, man. But I think eventually getting to E5, that's when stuff kind of started changing a little bit. Once I picked up sergeant, it was like, okay, I can kind of run things the way I want to. And then I transitioned to the guard, and that's a whole different thing. That's where I really made some friends. That was like active duty. It was like I had some friends, but we didn't have lives, man. Like, you just don't. Like, you got cool friend, maybe one guy you're kind of tight with, but then he goes and transfers somewhere else, or he tries out for the scouts, and people are just coming and going, and like, you just don't really. So I'll be honest, I didn't really pull any friends out of active duty. It was like the guard, man, was where I was like, this is where it's at.
Yeah,
it's like it's totally different. But
shoot, the active duty was, I don't know, it was different. Like I said, I was an AC general mechanic. When I first got in, technically that's not my MOS. It's not even my job. I was supposed to work on like washers and dryers and what's that? Water purification units, rope use. And so like I think the funniest thing was one of my the sergeant major I met at my duty station, Sergeant Major Stokes. Like, he always said hero. And so it was funny because like I'm this private, I'm freaking doing CQ, right? Freaking doing battalion CQ, so I'm up there with the big wigs, and he sees me like, "Oh, you new here?" I'm like, "Yes, right, Sergeant Major." He's like, "What's your no, he was Master Sergeant, my bad." But he was like, "What's your MOS?" And so I told him, I was like, 6'3" Juliet. He's like, "What's that?" And so I told him, he's like, "Do we even have that equipment here?" He's like, "Hold on, hero. I'm going to check with S1. And so he goes to S1 to see if I'm even supposed to be there. He's like, "Well, they say you slotted here, but won't have none of your equipment." I'm like,
holy shit.
You got a real unique job, it sounds like.
Yeah, so I ended up being they first started me as a wheel mechanic, and then immediately they switched me over to ground support equipment. So the whole time in Iraq, like, I didn't even learn anything about like air conditioners or nothing until I got to Iraq, and it was like straight head on. Like, every vehicle had to get reserviced because the air conditioners were down and stuff, and so it was like vehicle after vehicle in this line, and I'm learning like on the fly how to fix vehicles.
Holy shit.
Well, that's what they'll do. But you probably got pretty good at it from.
Oh yeah, I became a beast, man. Like, shoot, I realized that air conditioning and generators, like, if you know that, you're God over there. Like, I was getting free food, supply used to hook me up. Shoot, I had sergeant majors that used to walk up to me like freaking like third ACR and stuff. I'm like, "Hey, he's like, oh man, chill. Hey, hell, come over here real quick. Can you help me out with this refrigerator issue I having or something like that?" Like, "Oh yeah, man, I got you, sergeant major." Like, it was real cool. So I mean, I like I said, I had probably my most adventures, or even just like time, really just being in Iraq. Because I mean, my first tour was 15 months. So like, yeah, I mean, I was in 6.5 years, but you got to think like a year that's training or something, right? Then the rest of that, you got 27 months of tours and all that. So like, yeah, Iraq it was fun. I learned a lot. You know, trying to think. I think one of the best songs I had though, honestly, was getting to drive an 88 not 88, the 88 Hercules. The freaking the big tank that like pulls the tanks. I got to drive that mug. That was the funnest thing I ever got to drive. Like, cause I mean, it's the god of all tanks. It's bigger than all of them. Like, yeah, that was fun.
That's wild.
That thing's a beast. Yeah, it sounds like you're a very individual role, so people actually appreciated what you were doing.
Right.
You know, as a grunt, you're like dime a dozen, man. No one gives a shit
Yeah.
who you are.
Yeah, I mean,
Number, bro.
we were in the FCS, so like we was attacked. Or of course, it was the FCS for infantry, right? So like the whole time we're seeing the infantry, they're kind of chilling. And the crazy thing about it is, like hearing like what you're saying is kind of crazy because like at the same time for FCS, like for support company, FSC, like they literally they try their hardest to make us almost as miserable, if not worse, than the infantry. So like I did a 28 freaking mile rec march. We were the only ones that
Holy
did a 20.
shit.
Our company was the only one that did a 28-mile rec march in a mechanized unit, and and we're talking non-grunts doing rec march. Why? So we could be like, yeah, we did that. We did
Sounds like
that.
a battalion thing. Like a lot of these
yeah,
guys
it was.
drug into that stuff, and they
Yeah.
really don't need it, but they just get pulled in because it's like if they're doing it, you're doing it.
Yes, that's what it was. It was like, yo, they're doing it, we're doing it. We're going up NBC Hill. Of course, you know,
shit.
battalion runs. Those are always fun. I actually do miss battalion runs, man. Like brigade and battalion runs. I don't know. It's something about it. It was like you can't lie. It's weird. Like you get this weird second wind. Like at first you're miserable, like you're tired. It's early. You're not doing crap, and it's cold. And so you're like, man, we don't hurry up. Like, shoot, I'm ready to go. And then next you know, you start running. Like, man, some BS. Where the hell we going? And then you know, after a while, you know, start doing them cadences and stuff.
Yeah, dude.
You in
Get
there?
the runner's high, man. That I honestly miss that. I used to run a lot before I went, you know, in the military. Just wrestling, like football, you run, you do a lot of sprints. But wrestling, bro, our coach ran our dicks in the dirt because you have to have 10 times more the stamina in wrestling than you do in football. And even though you have all the gear on, you know, in football and whatever, wrestling, bro, it is when you are grappling with somebody for 3 minutes straight, it doesn't sound like a long time, but holy shit. Talk about, you know, stamina. So we'd run for fucking ever. So I, you know, and then I got to boot camp and we run and run and run and run. You get that runner's high, man. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. There's no other, with all the other workouts I've done in the past with, you know, gym work with, you know, all the different style of workouts and lifting and stuff. There's nothing that compares to, you can feel good. You can feel great after a really intense workout, but there's nothing that compares to a runner's high. It's just, there's something about when you get in that rhythm where your feet and your pace and your breathing just perfectly match up and you don't even feel anything anymore. Like you could just keep going, bro, until you hit the wall, you know, after like 8 miles and you're like, fuck this. But yeah, it's, I do miss that. I miss being able to run, to be honest, in the last, because I would run a couple miles here and there as part of my workout before I got sick a few years ago. So I really miss that runner's high. I do. Yeah.
It feels good to me after. I never, you know, like it's, running man in the Army, they value that above everything. It's like if you can run, you can go to any damn school you want, man. And I just never got there. Like, never got there. And I always felt great after running. It's like after workout, you're really relaxed and calm. But I never understood. It was like, oh yeah, runner high. It was always like me, like to the maximum focus to just finish. Like just brutal push-ups, sit-ups, man, no problem, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, now the Army's got this on my way out when I was over in Africa. They had us do the new Army combat fitness test, which is strictly focused on strength. It's deadlifting, fantastic. Ball throws, you know, you throw the ball over your back Sled drags, man, I crushed this test. I freaking maxed out the deadlift, maxed out everything. I was like, this is amazing. And then
Yeah.
the end of it, you do a 2-mile run, which is tough. But the time, it's like 100 points, like perfect scores, like 15:30 for like 2 miles. Because after all the heavy lifting and stuff
Right.
you do, they toned down the standards because now the Army's more focused on like the CrossFit aspect of things. So it was like, I wish they had that while I was in, man, because no running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't really have to run in long distance. I think the running thing was more of a stamina endurance kind of thing, which you can do, like you can get with those other training styles now. The deadlift, a lot of the pulling and stuff with your legs is you get a lot of stamina from that. You don't just have to go out and run 10 fucking miles.
Yeah. I think they're starting to realize that now. So
Right.
it's just really focused on strength, which not a lot of people, a lot of the girls and stuff know how to deadlift. So there was that problem. A lot of people were hurting themselves and stuff. So now they got to train the whole Army on how to deadlift.
Sure.
Yeah.
But a lot of guys are real happy about that because
I'll bet.
everybody's crazy about
Everyone
CrossFit
hates
on
running,
basic.
bro. Everyone hates running.
Yeah.
Push-ups, sit-ups, run.
Well, I got to say, when I went, I guess I met a lot of friends when I was in, especially my first year in Okinawa. We had a really intense year over there with our battalion commander. But I have to say the most shocking culture shock thing that I experienced that I had over there was, coming from a church-going Christian family, growing up Catholic, before internet. So there's and my dad didn't have, Playboys or nothing laying around. Okay. This is, you, as a teenager, you're looking at the Sears catalog lingerie section. Okay. That's your excitement. So
Times for sure.
fairly sheltered, right? 80s. Big hair bands are popular, obviously. We partied a lot in high school. I was experienced with girls before I went in the military, but as far as, being around other people that are, experiencing this kind of thing, no. So we get over to Okinawa. Well, Okinawa is, prostitution is legal, or was back then, might still be. A handful of drugs are legal. So our briefing the first week we get there is, don't drink this drink at this bar. It's called Oh God. Of course, that's the first thing we go do. It has opium in it. You'll pop on a piss test. Okay. So, mushrooms are legal. Weed was legal. Like all kind of shit was legal over there. So, but anyway, we go out in town, like the first month I'm there, and there's all of us boots, that are brand new in country there. And this is our first duty station. So we're all fresh out of boot camp at MCT and our schooling and then over there. So all the veterans over there are taking us to these bars where, hey, we're going to show you the ropes for out in town, off base. And we go to this, there's a bunch of them, but there was my first one we go into called the Moonlight Club. Buy me drinky girls this is a normal thing. Every bar you go into, they're topless. Every single one. Every waitress is topless. This is like a normal thing. That's not even like the nudie bar. Okay. They're all topless. And so that you get very used to this. Well, you can, at the Moonlight Bar, you can buy a blowjob and you don't even have to go to a room. I'm telling you, they go right to your table. We're sitting in a booth. It's like 8 of us. Okay. There's me, Skidmore. Of course we call him Skidmark. Red, Bletch, some of my best friends that I made over there. And Skidmore pays for a blowjob. It's $15. Okay.
Jesus.
She crawls under the table with a handful of napkins while we're still sitting next. I'm going, and we didn't know this was going to happen. We're thinking we got to move so we can get out, bro.
I think I'd have
I'm
a
like,
problem getting
what?
hard.
I'm scooting away from the like. I don't want you get. And I'm sitting next to him, like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
No shit. So the whole time they speak very broken English. She's like, come in mouth. Come in mouth. And so he's like, no, 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 no. And then all of a sudden you hear her head hit the table and she starts screaming and we get kicked out of the bar. Mama-san comes over here and starts, yelling at us in Japanese and kicks us out of the bar because he blew his load in her mouth. So,
God almighty, man. This
dude,
is like,
I'm like, I am not writing a letter to my mom telling her this kind of shit goes on over here. So then we go,
wild.
They had one called The Farm where it was a bar where two Filipino girls bring out a donkey and jerk it off. Okay. Dude, I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to hell, bro. Like, I'm feeling like I'm going to hell. Just see it. We walked out. We're like, bro, this is nasty. They had another bar called The Stage where as you walk in, you pay a cover fee of $5 just to be in the bar, which was really unusual. But $20 if you want to pick one of the girls that's standing in the line here with a little number on them. You pick number 15, and then you go, when they call the number, you go up on the stage where the bar is and have sex with the girl in front of the whole bar.
That's wild, man. I don't know if I could do that either. I'd have to be real intoxicated.
Yeah,
nobody could. They're all like they're not porn stars. They're like, they get camera shy. They're ever, like, wow. So anyway, this was my first month in Okinawa was holy shit. This is what goes on. And then banana shows, snake shows where they're sticking, the strippers are sticking bananas and snakes up their coochie. Okay. And quarter shows. Yeah. So it was like,
sounds very eye-opening for you,
bro. I was just mind blown. After the first month, you get used to it, obviously, but the initial shock was, holy fucking shit. This is normal? What? But yeah, those were probably the biggest culture shocks that I had, going over there because I had no clue, never heard any stories about this stuff until I got over there. And I was really not wanting none of us wanted to tell our parents what was going on. Because, you don't want your mom to worry. And, obviously we're in the military. They're worried about you going to war. And we're like, bro, we're trying to get out of this fucking place where they're jerking off a donkey. What? Oh, my God.
Very interesting. Yeah, it's the first, different generations, sure. Mm-hmm. I know my sister was there for about 2 years. And, obviously, she's a girl, but I never heard anything like this. I'll have to ask her stuff about it now that you're talking about it. Like, that's...
Ask her about Moonlight
Some
Alley.
of your deepest, darkest things that happened over there.
Yeah.
The top secret stuff that you don't tell nobody. I know about it.
Yeah, man. I was never afforded the opportunity when I was single to really... a lot of times I was threatened. I was like, man, I'm just going to go to Korea. Like, Korea is apparently party city as well. That's like the Army's Okinawa. You go to Korea, you can just party, and there's just a multitude of these very interesting clubs there and stuff.
I spent 2 months there as well. Met a lot of Army guys there, and same thing.
Never made it over to Korea. Never over to the Pacific, actually. Never saw any of that. Muslim countries, you're not going to see that. Like,
right.
I've seen the donkey show in the Muslim country.
Really?
Unfortunately, it wasn't by choice, and it definitely wasn't a show. But I was in the guard tower. Actually, I always hit my homeboy up because it happened on Thanksgiving when I was over there. So I always hit him up and talk about how they was stuffing something different in a turkey. But basically, we was putting guard in a tower, and these kids came up. They had a donkey and freaking out in the field, and just like, water. We're like, no, leave. So, I won't think nothing of it. I guess they walked behind us, and so my homeboy, he's sitting there with the binoculars, and he's just looking around. I'm chilling in the freaking tower, just watching forward, not paying attention to nothing. And he's like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "No, man, this can't be happening." I'm like, what, bro? So I'm sitting like intense, like what's going on? Because it's a holiday. They may try to mess with us on the holiday and stuff. So I'm like, bro, say something. Like, tell me what the hell's going on. Like, he just gets fucking a donkey. I was like, what? No. And I mean, like, I had to look. I had to. Like, it was one of those. It was a 2-time look. Like, it was like, yeah. He fucking a donkey. So we call up. The freaking to the talk. We're like, hey, I might want to check this out over in the field, over in this area. You see the camera go like. They put the camera on it. Like, yeah, thanks for the update, but what do you know about that? I'm like, I don't know. Just thought that was.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
It is.
I didn't see it too much in Africa. I mean, it was like Africa is just its own animal, but yeah, like that's like a common thing. I don't know why it's practice, and I don't know why it's acceptable. And then dudes screwing other dudes too. That's like
Yep.
bizarre stuff over there, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Weird ass stuff, but
guys are pleasure, women are just babies or something, and like
yeah, that
I'll
is
rather bang a man and a donkey than a woman. That just sounds like a weird morale.
Huh. Yeah, that's wild. Okay.
Real weird stuff, man.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah. Hey, whatever gets your rocks off, I guess. I ain't one to judge. Won't be me.
Before you guys went over there, you didn't have any clue about that kind of, like, that was kind of a culture shock. You didn't have any clue that was the accepted thing or whatever.
I heard about it. It was one of those things like, yeah, man, they're donkey fuckers. And you're like,
right.
That's funny. Like, whatever type thing, It's never something that I thought I was going to actually see in my lifetime being over there. Like, make sure I'm looking out for donkey fuckers. Like, especially kids. Like, and I mean, they just saw us. They did not give one fuck. Like, they just saw us and went to the back and just like, and it was 2 kids. So one kid is just sitting on I don't know if it was a brother or something. He's just sitting on the trailer. That dude's just they going at it. I'm just like, dude, like, y'all, they don't care. I never thought I would see something like that though. Like, because it's just like you hear about it. You hear these things. You never just like, yeah, man. I guess if it was one of those, like, I don't know, like a checklist of crazy things that happened in Iraq, that would be one of the ones I could check off. Like, did you see a donkey show? Yes. Check.
Yeah, man, I never got to experience anything like that. I didn't spend a lot of time in the Middle East. I was like, Africa was like my main, we've talked about this on previous podcasts. That's like where I spent my entire like time. So, I always heard about this stuff in Afghanistan and Iraq and stuff, and but never got to see it. And then in Africa, most of my missions were conducted at night, and I really never had much exposure to the population except when we went like to ranges or we went downtown doing stuff like that. Just like never had exposure. I'm not sure how it is in Africa, I'll be honest. Like every time I went to different sites, it was like a just dark, scary environment, and that's all you see. And then you run ops all night, and then you go back to base and you sleep all day, and then you get up and then you run ops again all night. So I never really got to see the Africa culture too much. I just poor as shit, but I have a few pictures of I had to bribe these kids to get this picture with them because they're scared. I don't know how it is in the Middle East, but they're scared. The camera's going to take their soul, so they never take pictures. Okay. Yeah, that's the real deal, man. Every time I pull out a camera, they'd all scatter and run. So I had to bribe them with cans of tuna and stuff from the French because I was working with the French, and I would steal their cans of tuna, and then I'd be like, hey, I'd point at the tuna and then point at them, and I'd be like, picture. And they'd be like, okay, sir, okay. And then I'd get down, and then we would all do like gang signs and stuff, and I have like a real good picture of probably the best photo I've ever taken. Like, really? Me and my one buddy were just like sitting there. And can I share that? Is there a way I can?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me.
You know how to do it on the.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, share your screen, and then we'll get a notification, and we'll click on it.
How do I not have access to this? No, never mind. It's the wrong drive. There it is. Okay. I gotta find this picture. Yeah, because I only got a few minutes left, but
Yeah.
I think um some of the overseas stuff, man, is super cool to talk about. It's like a whole different planet.
It really
Mhm.
is. Yeah, I mean the culture shock thing is a real thing. When
It
you
is.
experience that, when you're there, it's not like you just pass through. Like you are there, you have to, you see the customs, you see the traditions, or just how the people are and what that kind of thing. So yeah, it was funny because the daytime life in Okinawa was everyone is super respectful, good manners. And then nightlife, yeah, bro, like fucking porn city.
Orange City, yeah.
Oh
I
my
think
freaking!
that's it there.
Oh wow,
Um,
Oh,
yeah, so it's a pretty cool picture.
that is
yeah, it
wild.
is.
Okay,
Can you guys see that?
yeah.
Yeah,
Pause the preview. We've paused the preview to save your resources. What the heck's?
No, don't worry
yeah.
about that.
Oh,
You
there
don't
you
see
go.
the preview, but we see it.
Yeah, but so you can see some of them here have like cans of tuna in their hand,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and
Okay.
there's like a box of food behind us, but that's what I had to bribe them with, and we were like, all right, we'll give you a box of food if you take pictures with us.
Yeah.
And right after this picture, they were like, hey, we're rolling out. I was like, all right, so we start hopping in our Mat V's, and we hand one kid the box, he rips it out of our hands, and the kids start like killing each other
Oh
over this
shit.
box of food, like picking up rocks and just hitting each other and stuff.
Oh my god.
So we're like rolling away, and I'm just like sitting there watching these kids, like this food's it's like
Lord of the Flies, bro.
yeah, just food going everywhere in the air and stuff, and they're screaming and punching each other and going crazy. And
Holy shit.
I'm like just like trying to like get in there to like separate things, and I'm like, but the convoy's rolling out, and I'm like, I gotta go, but I'm like
Yeah.
so like shocked at these like they're just poor as shit, man, and like all of them are pretty much starving. So
Yeah.
um, it just was like wow, the fact that I got this picture, and then like the convoy rolled out, and then they just shredded this stuff to pieces,
No
just
shit.
killing each other over these cans of tuna.
Oh, that's
Uh,
wild.
yeah, so pretty crazy picture.
That's cool. You got that though.
Yeah, it was like something I really wanted to get while I was over there. I was like, I need to make this happen. I don't know how, but I'm gonna make
Right.
it happen.
Well, I
So,
saw. Well, we had in South Korea, we had the kind of a similar thing. They the a lot of the people, the area we were at was Busan, Pohang, and it was very very poor in the villages and stuff. And there was a lot of people that still lived in grass huts. Um, and I have a picture. I cannot find it. It was in one of my photo albums that um, we had in the shed somewhere years ago, but there was a picture of me and my buddy Russ. Um, he's holding this, I don't know, 2-year-old South Korean baby, and I'm standing next to the mom, and we look like monsters to them. Russ was a good friend of mine. He's a black dude. He's huge, looked like a football player. And he's 6'1". I'm 6 foot, and of course the mama-san is, I don't know, maybe 5 feet, maybe four. I mean, just short as hell. And he's holding this little baby, and we're giving them our MREs because they're like starving, man. And they were just like so thankful and so grateful. Like it was honestly a touching moment, being able to, have this abundance and give to them, out in town. And we were rolling through from one base to another, and we stopped, and it was one of the only pictures I have with me with, the national, like somebody that's, in that country or whatever. But, um, yeah, it was really cool, but it was really, really poor area. Uh, and then of course with all the military stuff, you go out in town, you have the poor villagers, and then you have the bars that where all the American military guys go that pretty much feed that whole village because we're spending all our American dollars there.
Yeah, that's typically how it is. Yeah, you got to find that picture, man.
No shit,
Be
dude.
pretty cool to see. I luckily have all my stuff up on we created a drive for that whole deployment, and I still like catch myself like just clicking through it because we went wild, man. I was like, look, like we got to take pictures. Like we
Yeah.
need loads of pictures here to to show so we can have for the future for our kids and stuff. And
Yep.
so yeah, I've got like from the whole deployment, man, this endless amounts of pictures.
We did. I was always the one taking pictures. So I'm not in very many pictures at all. When I as far as in my military career or whatever, like not very many at all.
See what else I can find here. That's pretty interesting because I'm about out of time here.
Yeah, I thought I had a military.
I'd like to see Hell's pictures here. If you could dig any up.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I had to fix my microphone again.
What's that?
I had to fix my microphone again.
Oh.
But yeah, I got some photos. Like I got a bunch of photos from Iraq.
And for the most part, I played a lot of video games overseas, like ton of video games.
Nice.
I made sure all my guys had computers. I was like, everyone will have a gaming computer to
No
ensure
shit.
that we're all playing video. Because every mission, every day off we had, we'd all link up and we would just sit there and play video games for hours.
Now, who are these guys?
Oh, so this is like their local leader, like freaking the JSS. Like behind where I was stuck in at JSS my second tour, and so right behind it was their police station. So we'll drive around and like we'll go to their different stations or their border huts and like actually talk to them.
Yeah,
it's funny though because no matter who you talk to, everybody was always asking like the same questions, like how many madams you have, how many babies you have, do you like Usher, like
what?
Yeah, so like we're just sitting here, just we just used to take pictures with you guys, but it was funny because everybody used to always ask like, you like Usher, yes? So they start playing like Usher music, and they was playing like what was it? They was playing They was playing They was like, oh, you like Michael Jackson or Kobe Bryant? It was always something with them. I'm trying to see if I find this song.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, they're very engulfed. Oh, there's the beast.
Yeah, that's the beast I got to drive.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah, you see how tall that?
I've never seen one of those.
Yeah, so the 88, the 88 Hercules is like it's the tow truck for freaking tanks. And not only is it a tow truck for tanks, but like it also, I think that's what took down the statues, isn't it? In Baghdad, they use these to take down the statues too. They use them for multiple.
Okay. They did, yeah. They pulled it. Or I don't know. That may have been a Bradley.
Yeah, it may have been.
That's wild.
Yeah, that thing's a freaking monster. You got some more to show though? Like, 'cause I can go for days. I got so many different photos.
Let me see what I got here. I think some of these are
this was something we was known for doing, throwing people in the dumpster. That was
shit.
That was literally our fun. So like people would sit there and start wrestling, and I mean I think I have actual.
So like, see that truck back there in the back, in that picture.
Which one?
I don't know what you call it, but we call it LVS. Yeah, we call it a logistical vehicle system. LVS. Yeah. Yeah.
So they had. I forgot which ones they are. So they got PLSs and LVSs or something like that. Because they got two of them. But yeah. Shoot, we had
a lot of those.
See, I can just type Iraq. See if I find this one in the dumpster drive. Oh, yeah. See, like they're literally throwing people into the
Oh,
dumpster.
shit. Is that like
It's
your
it's a stitch,
right?
but this is like my company. Like there was, yeah, they was going ham, and it was funny. Like anytime they did it, it was like it would be like a group of them, and it would be what was it? It was distro versus SNR most of the time, and so distro and SNR go at it, and next you know they're just dumping people, and then the mechanics come in, and so the mechanics are going at it, and they're just trying to throw random people in. It's almost like a Royal Rumble. Like people just start tossing people into the dumpster. I've seen people get tossed in like multiple times. I'm just seeing
Oh,
recorded like
hysterical.
humanity.
That's pretty funny.
I did find
Dumpster.
some pictures, but not the one I was talking about. So this is okay. So this is oh man, this is Naha Port in Okinawa.
Man, that's an old photo.
Bro.
Oh wow,
Throwaways.
So
classic photo.
this is this is a picture I took with my phone of the actual, Polaroid that's in my photo album. Okay. So this is Naha Port in Okinawa, where all the ships come in and go. And this was Operation Desert Shield when it very first kicked off. We were sitting on this port waiting for orders to jump on one of these ships and get sent over. So my unit, Delta Company over there, was we were 9th Motors Battalion in Okinawa. We sat on this port 4 fucking days in a row, and our orders got canceled 4 days in a row. So we watched all these ships come in and leave without, and we were fucking excited as hell, bro, to go on some of these ships here and take off. You can see these. I don't even know what kind of missiles those are, but so this is was it January? I can't remember when Shield started, but it was the first month or a couple weeks that it started before it turned into Desert Storm, and they were the build up, I guess, before we went over there. So, but yeah, these are 4 separate days of these ships coming in, and these pictures were taken with a disposable camera. Back then, Kodak had those disposable cameras.
Yeah, they're making a comeback. I just used
they are.
Are they
the
really?
last 2 Milsom Wests. I had them and I processed the photos. It's a whole different vibe.
No
Yeah,
shit.
it is.
Yeah, so I use them all at the Milsom events now.
I'll bet you can't tell who's me.
I really can't.
I know,
The
dude.
one on the right, with the mustache.
Yep, with the mustache. Oh
Nice
God.
I
dash.
knew it.
Yeah, that's bad. So, oh yeah. But yeah, that's
It's pretty funny.
yeah, red. Now this is in South Korea. So this is, like I said, I'm not really in a whole lot of pictures. I'm the one taking these. That's Russ,
Throwaways.
the guy I was talking about. Me and him were on a mission, and we, going from one base to another. He was the one that was holding the kit, but I can't find, that picture I was talking about. But these are all in South Korea. Well, these ones are. That's on ship going there. That's Russ. This is in a bar in Busan, South Korea. They were cleaning out Shit River right here. That's where all their sewage went.
This is really before South Korea was more industrialized like it is nowadays.
Bro, look at these. Now, this is downtown, so they have some buildings and stuff. But this is like a mosque type of thing. I don't know what they call it. I can't remember what they called it. But it was like a place of worship where they had...
Yes, looks about right. This is way before it was industrialized.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, this is one of the... this is a full-grown adult. This is one of the ladies that nationals there that was wandering around. picking up trash and shit, looking for stuff. And they had grass huts not far from here that they lived in. These are some of the tankers that they brought in potable water and shit. But yeah, these are all the pictures I got, man. Like, I don't have any cool pictures of me and holding a gun or looking tactical. There's some Humvees you can barely see.
I wish I did a throwaway overseas because it's just different, man. When you're looking at photos that you're holding in your hand, it's a completely different feel.
Yeah, it really is.
Now, I have a very interesting story for you guys. Probably the last one I have here. So when I was over in Africa, I've talked to you about this before about, my Raven missions and how I was tasked with that. And it was like the coolest thing ever. And so what happened while I was in Africa was this big cyclone came through and hit Mozambique, destroyed like half the country, put it underwater, all these swamps. So they were like, we need Ravens for this mission. So the Air Force came to us, the recon platoon, and said, you've got 2 Ravens. Hell's, I didn't even know this, just to explain some backstory, but the Air Force has this kind of like their ranger school for these air commandos, which are called Ravens. And they do a 3-week course in New Jersey where they just beat the shit out of you for like 3 weeks so that you can become an air commando. So I got sent to this school, like one of like 6 soldiers to ever go to it, because and it was weird because I was at this school and they, I'm standing there, the only soldier with all these airmen. And they were like, dude, all of us have been trying to get in this school for years. They had to do like multiple checklists, multiple like preschools to make sure they were in like tip top shape to go to this school. And I was slotted for it in like a week. And I think I was just in the right mindset to get through it, but I got through it. So then overseas, we got tasked and pulled to escort aircraft in. So aircraft would land on these remote airfields wherever in Somalia or wherever they wanted us to go, and we would secure the premises to make sure there was no bad guys and stuff. And we'd meet special forces or SEALs or whoever's down there, and we'd communicate with them and talk to them about what the situation was, and we'd stay there for hours, sometimes days, and just like lock down this area. But so I didn't even know that existed until like I was doing it. So overseas, that's what I did in Africa, and this cyclone hit Mozambique. So they were like, we need Ravens to come down and help us secure these sites. There's like no U.S. presence there. So we went down to Mozambique, and I'm thinking we're going to be like sleeping in the bush, man. Like we're going to be like surrounded by camel spiders and the nastiest shit. And we're going to be living in mud huts. Like it's going to be so shitty. So they were like, we need you to bring a bunch of civilian clothes and we need you guys to kind of just blend in. And I was like, okay, so we're doing like covert shit. And they were like, no, like if this area is not threatening, like the northern area has like a big ISIS presence and stuff, but for the most part, it's pretty secure. So we go to Mozambique and we're there for like a month and a half. It was supposed to be like a 2-week mission. We were there for like a long ass time. So I'm going to pull up some pictures here of the hotel we were staying in. It was like a 5-star resort. Leonardo DiCaprio was there.
What?
Filming Blood Diamond.
Oh my god, that's a good movie, Def.
Yeah, oh yeah. And so here's the resort we were staying in. And
holy shit.
So when we sent these guys back, because there was only, I think, 6 of us that got selected to go down. 2 of us were actual Ravens, and the others were kind of were guys that were part of our recon platoon. And so we were tasked with setting up a guard rotation to go on the plains and then go down south to where the cyclone had hit and secure the zones. And we would always be in, when we were off the plane, we were always in civilians. So we had to kind of like blend in and stuff. We didn't want to be targets. Not that there was really a threat, but so the air, you're attached to the Air Force, these officers. So they put them up in this high class hotel in the middle of this communist country.
Oh my God.
So this is like communism at its core. is they'll put you up in this and all these celebrities and stuff and these very wealthy people. You know, I made friends with some crazy guys, man. While I'd be at the bar, these guys from Australia would come up to me and they'd be sitting there. They'd be like, "You from the States?" I'm like, "What? How do you know that?" I'd be like dressed and all this, like wearing sunglasses, and they just knew I was from the States. So they would sit there and then we'd just kick it off. We'd start drinking. We drank so much at this resort, and we'd wake up hungover, sometimes still drunk, and we had no Overwatch. No one gave a shit about us. So we just did whatever we wanted to. And, you know, I found out these guys are like, some of them are like arms dealers, and then others of them are, you know, they sell private jets. So they're down there doing deals with the government and stuff. And I'm telling you, man, it was insane. So we go out to this pool, and a bunch of like 6 big Americans are jumping around in that pool and stuff. And so then, you know, we drink all night. We party with these super wealthy people there and talk about, you know, what they're there for, their deals and stuff, get super drunk, go back to our rooms, wake up, and then we'd go out to the Bird, and we'd have to transport from the hotel to the airfield, which was super sketchy. It was like, they didn't like guns either, so they wouldn't let us carry guns. So all of us had M9s like stuffed into our crotches, and we'd be driving through these markets, and we would just be sitting there. And it was just like the sketchiest shit ever, man. Like if shit popped off, we were it. Like there was no one there to come help us. So, you know, we had like these romantic dinners between the two of us because we had unlimited money. So you know, this is when me and my soldier down there. So me and him, I'm telling you, man, they would come up to the table and they would have lamb like fresh off it, and they would be like, "What? How much do you want, sir?" And they would cut the lamb right off and serve it to you right there. Is it showing you guys that image?
Yeah, it's showing it,
dude.
So
it's making me hungry.
Yeah,
it's insane, man. So we had this world-class buffet there with these like chefs who would cut the meat right off the bone for you, and we were just sitting there. We're like, "This is insane!" Like, this is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. And so we're sending these pictures back to Somalia to these our buddies up there. And we're like, "Hey, check this out." So they're all begging to come down. They're like, we want to go down to Mozambique and stuff. And so,
oh my God, that looks good, bro. So for anyone that's just listening to this and not watching it, so he's showing us pictures from when he was in Mozambique, Africa. The one he just showed was they're at a restaurant, and I mean, it looks like a 5-star restaurant, bro.
Places.
I mean, the way they have the food set up and the table and
the wine pairing,
flatware. I mean, everything, bro.
Yeah, we had all the wine you wanted, man. Anything you wanted. I mean, anything at any time of the day, these people would make it for you. It was the most insane time in my life that I've been treated like straight royalty.
What was the best or the most different? Did you ask for anything different? What kind of food did you have?
Anything I wanted.
You had never
anything, man. I tried like fox. I tried like boar. I tried like crazy shit, man. And if they didn't have it, they would like find it for you.
What?
Yeah. And you know, like here's like a picture of like me and the civilians, and then here's some of us like on the airfield here. You can see like in the background there's MiGs.
Yep.
Because the Russians were there too, so that was super sketchy as well. Because the Russians were like, "Oh, we're going to come in and we're going to help as well." So it was like U.S. and Russian aircraft on the airfield together, and we would just stare at each other.
Oh, and that's weird.
Yeah, because the Russians and the Chinese helped them win their revolution there, which it's a communist country. So there's a giant Chinese presence, a giant Chinese casino. They said, "Do not go to the Chinese casino, no matter what, because they will literally try and kidnap you." So they were like, stay away from the Chinese casino. And the Chinese were there, I'm pretty sure. So all these countries coming in to like show their support for third world countries and stuff.
That's
wild. So yeah, here's me on the airfield. You can see like in the background, there's just on the airfield, they just had these wrecked planes like everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was super sketchy, man. It was like something out of I don't know, like some horror movie with just like these planes scattered, these abandoned planes, super sketchy, dude. Like
Air America.
yeah, they had one working
They're like, fuck it.
helicopter.
They're just gonna leave it there. There's no point in trying to fix it.
Yeah, exactly. So they just didn't know how to fix it, so they'd roll it out to the airfield and just leave it there.
Jesus.
And yeah, man. I mean, here's my view from my see out in the back behind this hotel is just slums, just super poor people.
Yeah.
And they're desperate, man. Like the government has disarmed them all. They're pretty much useless. So there's something waiting to happen there. Like those people were like, you could see it in their eyes, like just desperation, like they're ready to kill for food.
Jesus.
And but yet, dude, you know, here we are at these world class
having whatever you want
yeah.
for dinner.
So that's like communism, man, at like its peak.
That's wild.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy, man. Like most people, when I tell them the story, they think I'm like making it up. And I'm like, no, I swear to God, I spent a month and a half in Mozambique getting drunk with billionaires. And you can see in the background here, there was a they had one helicopter. It was an old Soviet, what do you call them? Soviet.
Shit, what were those called? Like the one in Rambo 3 or something.
Yeah. I forget what the heck they're called, man. But they had
not the Sikorskis.
No, I don't even know, man.
Yeah, don't ask me. I don't remember.
But so every time the Americans would come down, we'd come down to the airfield, and they'd puff out. They're like, oh, we're gonna go power up this helicopter. So they would just turn this helicopter on, no idea how to use it. And they would just like all gather around him, like, yeah, we got a helicopter. And they would try and act like cool that they like in front of the Americans.
They're flexing. Yeah.
Yeah, they were flexing. Exactly. They would flex.
Bro, bring out a boombox. Bring out old 80s boombox and start playing Rocky IV music, okay?
Yeah, dude. Like these guys are always flexing on us. Whatever they could, it was like they would just shoot their rifles in the air and we'd all be like,
oh,
Jesus. Yeah, I remember one night we were on the airfield because we had to leave guys out there overnight to watch it, to make sure no one effed with the plane. And randomly some nights, just crack, 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 crack. And we'd all be sitting in there like, holy hell, man. And we had like a few rifles with like a full combat load of mags. If like anything went wrong there, we were like screwed.
Yeah.
So it was like super sketchy, but at the same time, man, it was like, you know, one in a million.
Wild, yeah, no shit, dude.
But that's probably it, guys. I'm kind of out of time here.
Well, I appreciate you guys being on, man. It's really cool. You know, this, like I said, for anyone that's watching or listening later, this, you know, we want to do something that would a little different, something to commemorate Veterans Day. And, you know, we'll end on I guess a fun fact. I always tease about the Veterans Day being November 11th and Marine Corps birthday is November 10th. So I for real, you know, because I heard this so much when I was in the military, you know, we always made that joke that there's a, you know, that's why Veterans Day is the day after Marine Corps birthday, because the Marines are better kind of thing, you know, that kind of thing. But I actually found out that Veterans Day, you know, it used to be called Armistice Day.
Yep.
I don't know how to say that word. But it was November 11th was the day that the fighting stopped officially for World War I, which I did not know.
Yeah.
And then actual Veterans Day wasn't considered, you know, a federal holiday until like the 50s or 60s or something like that.
Yep.
So anyway, long history. They've been celebrating Armistice Day for a long ass time. But it didn't officially become a holiday until, you know, late 50s or 60s or something like that. So anyway, it's kind of interesting to find out where that comes from. But, you know, a lot of people don't know this that aren't veterans or aren't, you know, don't have military history knowledge. Veterans, the difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day, Veterans Day honors veterans, you know, currently serving or previously served living, right? And then Memorial Day is for those that gave the ultimate sacrifice in the military or whatever, serving. So that's the big difference with that. And you'll see a lot of people post during Memorial Day, kind of like post for active duty, like thank you for your service kind of thing. Whereas it's more for the, it doesn't bother me, but it's more for those that have been, sacrificed their life basically, or were killed in their service to the country. And then Veterans Day is thank you for your service kind of thing. So, yeah. So thank you both for your service. And
it was coming.
right. Yeah, man. But I appreciate you guys being on here. It was great talking with you guys, hearing some stories. And your mic is, it's okay, man. It lasted the whole time this time. That's good.
Yeah, it sounded good too.
It only lasted because my patience kept me in the game.
There you go, buddy.
This whole time.
Oh, good for you, man. I'm proud of you, bro. See?
Yeah.
Well,
right.
it's good to meet you, Hells. I'm sure
too, Austin.
You got, if we did another one of these in the future, you going through some of those photos would be pretty interesting. You look like you've got a lot of experience. So definitely like to see more of that. Like I said, if we had like 3 hours tonight, we could just go through everything, but
I know. Right? No, this is good. It's a good time to end. I gotta piss.
I mean, shoot. Yeah, I just found out about like everything your business does too. So I ended up buying some BBs for my next event too. So
good, man. Yeah, it's easy. I've been pretty upfront with this in a lot of our podcasts too about our product is different from everybody else's because of what we represent and what we're trying to do. So that's why I think we've really had a lot of success lately is because of our, not necessarily our message, but our vision, which is we, I don't know where they went here, but here they are. So, these are like your first US made BBs here, and no one else really gives a damn. But, obviously us as veterans to support an organization that is actually like, we're making it happen, man. Like I had a conversation earlier today with a couple people, like things are lining up here to move forward. I've obviously got to pull a few more investors involved, which I might open this up to some closer people in the airsoft community to get a chance to get on board. But
like stock shares.
Yeah. So, it would be an opportunity to get in a little bit early. But yeah, we've really exploded on a level that I can't even describe it. Like it's just insane. So, getting support from other veterans is huge, and our product's great. It's just like everybody else's. It's a BB. It flies. It's fantastic. All these other guys, they just rebranded cheap China crap. But
and then you got mixed tracers.
Yeah, we got the mixed tracers.
Hardest thing ever.
I think it's a good time to actually announce that, I'm not going to be 100% with this, but within the next month, I expect, now I'm not going to give any dates on this or anything, but I expect to have IR tracers within the next month.
What?
So that's probably, whoever actually stuck around to the end of the podcast, that's something I wanted to touch some light on, because we got them and they're ready. But like I said, I'm not giving any dates. We'll get them. But I am confident that you will see them by the end of the month. So soon you'll have these, low light
reacting, I'm guessing, because that's to react to the light a little bit less, but it glows just enough for them to see.
Well, I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, I'm sorry, man.
Kill me, but
hey, we're trying to get the big reveal, bro.
No, it's cool. I'm gonna hold out.
It's coming. We're going to be doing exclusively through. You're North Carolina, right? So you're probably.
I'm in South Carolina. He's in.
I'm in Georgia.
Georgia, right? So you're super south, but up north, there's most places there's a handful of good fields. We represent some of the best fields up here in the Northeast where our ammo's at. So we're working exclusively with Zulu 24, which is probably the best field next to Ballahack up in the Northeast. They're going to have first access to that, and then I'll open it up to everybody else. But like I said, I expect at the end of the month to have that.
And just give me like a little bag, like just a bag of BBs.
Yeah, we'll see how things are going to move forward here. Like I said, I haven't really put up pre-orders or anything yet because I want to make sure they're right. So once I get confirmation here that it's exactly what I want, it's got to be perfect. Then I can move forward with starting to open up pre-orders, aligning it with season 3, and because season 3 is going to be all about night vision and that kind of stuff. So whole new feel coming for season 3, new artwork, new pictures, redesign the whole website to rebuild it into the season 3 blackout. So nice. Should release that in combination with that, where we can kind of announce that with a real cool trailer. And I think that's going to blow up pretty quick. So
awesome.
Very exciting. A lot of stuff. So we're actually innovating. But I didn't mean to pull the spotlight away and put it on us.
No, dude, of course. No, this is great. Yeah.
Talking about
hold those that canister up again.
What's that?
This is your little container.
Yeah, these are
first
them,
ever airsoft BBs that are made on American soil.
Made on American soil. At least I think so. Maybe people have gotten as far as I have. I've got a lot more of them now.
No.
But I don't think so. I think if anyone had come as far as we have, they would have maybe posted about it somewhere.
Right.
But yeah, we're doing it, and
that's cool.
We've got a process, and like I said, I can't talk too much about it. But yeah. So hey, dude, thanks a lot, man. Me too. Like, I'd love to finally get down to South Carolina area. I was going to go to Milsom West, Perry, Georgia.
Right.
But it's just not looking like we're just too busy. Like you can either focus on cool projects like I was just talking about, or you can go down south for an event. So I'm kind of pushing the other way. So
yeah.
So I'll get down there eventually, man, and we'll link up, all of us, and we can actually get some cool pictures and actually network and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So again, thanks so much for having me on, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hale's fantastic. Learn about your experience, man. You sound like you have a lot of stories to tell. I'm going to need to find the earlier podcast of the two of you so I can watch it.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we got too many military stories in there, but yeah, man. I actually appreciate this too. It's good, getting to meet you officially and stuff. So I'm happy about this. I'm definitely going to keep you. I'll probably harass you a couple times. I'll hit you up during your office hours, though, so I'll get that auto.
Yeah.
Right.
Office hours, man. Yeah, I know that thing's just in there. I kept seeing it. I'm like, shit.
Well, it's difficult on the group text thing. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Listen, anyone that's watching or listening to this, definitely appreciate anyone that has that is an active duty or previous veteran in the military. Thank you for your service, and go follow these guys, Haleyeah Airsoft and BlueMag Airsoft. Appreciate both you guys, and I'll have your links on the video and everything. So this will come out on Veterans Day, which is Friday, the day that
Iron Dagger next week.
Iron Dagger. I almost said Stonebreaker. Iron Dagger starts, that I will be at for that whole weekend. And my son, Coltrane, who's on the channel, we both got press passes, and I will be, I'll be in y'all's faces, taking pictures and videos, talking with y'all. So that'll be great.
I'll keep my eye out for you again.
Yeah, me too.
Hell yeah, buddy.
So, buy some TriFecta apparel. I ordered myself a hoodie tonight. So,
no. Okay.
Make sure we get some support for you guys. The pair looks much better than before. It looks sharper now.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Thank you.
So
yeah, I'm working on it.
Hopefully it won't take a month and a half this time.
I know, right?
So yeah, guys, if you're listening, buy some TriFecta apparel. Make sure you're supporting the podcast.
Oh, I appreciate it, man.
All right, guys. Always
appreciate
a pleasure.
You guys. Yeah, absolutely. Have a good
night.
All right, everybody, have a good night.